And here he is, the fantastic. He's not a good coach. He's a great coach, Bruce Pearl from, of course, Auburn University. Coach, good morning. Welcome to New York. I'm Sid. How are you?
Sid, it's great to be with you in New York City.
It is a great city, and I tell you this, I'm a big St. John's fan, Bruce, not going to lie to you. But as soon as Patino and St. John's got eliminated by Calipari in Arkansas, my favorite team in the tournament became yours. Not because, I'm not going to lie to you, Denver Jones is my favorite player. But when you start talking about hostages, because I'm about to go back to Israel April 26th for the third time in 13 months. And maybe you know this about me, maybe you don't. I'm a rabid pro-Jewish, pro-Israel guy. Trump comes on this show. We talk a lot about Israel, the hostages. I've met with everybody from Bibi to President Bougie the last couple of years, and I go back every couple of months. So to hear you talk about that at a college basketball game, you're my hero, Bruce. You really are.
Well, I'm Yisrael Chai, and God bless America. And I'm a Zionist. I'm a loud, proud Jew that is so grateful to be able to live in this country where anybody can be anything. Yes, there are going to be obstacles, but not roadblocks. And we have 3 Jewish basketball coaches that are going to be playing and coaching in the Final Four. Todd Golden of Florida, Bruce Pearl at Auburn, John Shire at Duke. And so don't tell me this isn't a great country. Don't tell me this is not the land of opportunity. And, I just feel my Hebrew name, Sid, is Mordechai. Oh. And as you know, the story of Purim, Mordechai had a responsibility to speak to Queen Esther and remind her that if she did not speak up, that her people may all be dead the next day, including maybe herself.
That's right.
And people think I jump on this stuff because it's politics. It's not politics. Yes, I'm a President Trump supporter, and I have been a long time. But it's about our survival. Like, this is about living, being able to live or die, because there are way too many people out there think it's okay to say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, free of exactly what? Oh, you mean me, and you mean you.
That's right.
And you mean my kids and my grandkids. Well, guess what? Not happening. Not on our watch, Sid.
God bless you. I love everything you just said. My wife, by the way, my beautiful wife, Danielle, grew up in North Carolina, also a Jew, south, of course, of New York City. But I'm just curious. Here you are involved in serious sports. Your team's in the Final Four, and you admit right here on a huge show, this is the biggest morning show in the country, that you're a Trump supporter. He's a dear friend of mine. I talk about it every day. But you admit you're a Trump supporter. You're pro-Israel. That doesn't get you into trouble in the sports world?
It does. It gets me into trouble sometimes in recruiting. It gets me into trouble sometimes on campus, but there's this amazing thing called freedom of speech. And I'm not speaking as Auburn's basketball coach. I am Auburn's basketball coach. I'm speaking as Bruce Pearl. And Dr. King said silence is complicity. And if you think that this country would tolerate protesters on college campuses wearing white hoods calling for the extermination of African Americans, we would not have it. All right? We didn't have it. We went through that before. And we're going through it right now. Unfortunately, under President Trump's leadership, he's saying we're not going to have that anymore. So one encouraging thing said to your listeners is that the vast majority of Americans know the difference between right and wrong and good and evil. And we're going to get through this. The Jewish people are going to survive this. And I'm hoping that we got a chance to maybe come out on the other end, build on those Abraham Accords, establish some peace with those Gulf Arab nations. But the curtain has been pulled back because for 85 years, there's been a segment of the Arab population in Israel and in the Middle East that's all they've done is call for and try to exterminate us. That the genocide has been on the other side. The curtain's been pulled back. We're going to protect ourselves from those that want to kill us. And you know what the other thing we're going to do, Sid? We're going to give the people that don't really know the story, we're going to tell them the truth, and then we're going to continue to live the lives as mensches and as God would ask the Jewish people to live, and continue to do the good and continue to do the mitzvah. That's our responsibility. And you know what? The people that aren't sure, many of those people are now sure, and they've come around.
Did you grow up, Bruce? For me, for example, I grew up, my father was pretty religious and my mother wasn't, so I was bar mitzvahed at a Reformed temple. I tell you, my temple was so great. The rabbi, Fred Dworkin, on Friday nights after Shabbos, he had blackjack tables downstairs. It was fantastic. And so, but I still went to yeshiva and I did all that stuff, Bruce. But I was the type of guy, I say this all the time, that I would, first 2 nights of Passover, I'm eating matzah. By the third night, I'm eating chicken parmesan. That's the type of Jew I was. But October 7th happened, and now I'm a beast. Now I'm beating up people on trains. I'm going back and forth to Israel every 3 months. Now I've never been more proud of my Jewish heritage. What kind of Jewish boy was Bruce Pearl?
Well, you know what? I had the blessing of having a grandfather who was a plumber, be an Orthodox Jew, kept kosher in the house, wrapped tefillin. And he died when I was 13 years old. Said he was my best friend, best friend.
Sorry.
I had him long enough for him to be able to explain to me that he came to this country when he was 11 years old. He escaped the pogroms in Ternopil. He brought his 3 younger siblings with him. His parents and others in the family could not afford to come to this country and died in the Holocaust and a lot of other things. But he made me promise him that I would live this life as a Zionist. He made me promise him that I would love this country because at age 32, he became a United States citizen. He loved the United States of America because this country saved him and his family. And so that's the foundation. And you know what? I think American Jewry has somehow drifted from its roots a little bit. Its biblical roots, its the love of its ancestral homeland. By the way, you're going to be there April 26th. I'm going to be there April 28th for about 4 days. I'm actually speaking at a JNS.
So am I.
All right. Well,
I'm actually very close with Alex Trayman, the CEO. I'm speaking Monday, April 28th, that night at JNS.
I'm speaking that day.
All right. That's great. So we're going to be at the Waldorf Astoria together.
We're going to get hooked up. We'll get some matzo bread again.
So you're going to be there for Memorial Day and Independence Day as well, right?
I'm going to be there. I know I'm going to be there for 4 days. I have
Awesome.
a wedding I've got to come back to the weekend of May 2nd, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to be there. But I'm encouraged. I'm just encouraged. I really feel like there are some things that are taking place there now, which is going to provide some safety and security for a few years. Now, look, we're going to have to stay on our toes because there are a lot of folks out there that are launching stuff at us all the time. But Israel's never been stronger, and we've never had a better friend than Donald Trump and President Trump in the White House, and the people that he surrounded himself with. And I just hope it's going to be a great partnership that's going to lead to peace and prosperity for others in the Arab nation. And listen, you go back there all the time. You recognize that there are 2 million Arabs living as citizens in Israel and living the best lives of any Arab. And that's the way it was back in the day.
Yes.
And it can be that way. But this adding another state, this idea of another state, which is still official U.S. policy, that ship has sailed. There are 21 Arab states. There's only one Jewish state, and that Jewish state is going to survive. There's not going to be a 22nd Arab state. We tried that in 2005 with Gaza. It was a horrendous mistake, and that mistake can never be repeated.
Again, Drake John Bear. One more, we'll get to the basketball game. You know, I spend a lot of time when I go to Israel, in Judea and Samaria, which the Goyim, of course, call the West Bank. But my friend Scott Beltman, he sends me from the One Israel Fund, Coach, and so their whole reason for that organization is to one day make sure that. We've got not annexing, that's not the right word, but we want sovereignty in Judea and Samaria. So that's where I spend most of my time. In fact, last year, Yom Kippur, on the 1-year commemoration of October 7th, I stayed in a little town called Efrat in Judea and Samaria, ended up breaking the fast, Bruce, with Bibi Netanyahu back in Jerusalem. So I know, pretty cool. I love that area.
Hey.
I know you feel the same way. You want to make sure there's sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, yes?
Absolutely, Sid, and that's the Jordan Valley. And then listen, you open up Genesis and you read a story about Jacob telling Joseph, "Take me back to where my father was buried, okay? Take me back to Hebron. Take me back to the cave of the patriarchs. Okay, so we've got Abraham and Isaac, Jacob, Leah, buried in Hebron. Abraham paid for that land. In fact, he overpaid for land. And, Jewish people don't like to overpay for everything. Abraham overpaid for it, so nobody would say it wasn't ours. Listen, we're not giving that back. There's no reason. About 80% of the Bible, okay, that we read, that we observe, was written and came from stories in Judea and Samaria. And you know what? There are some wonderful communities. How beautiful is Ariel?
Oh. It's funny you mentioned Ariel. The last time I was there, I did my show from Ariel University.
Yep. It's an incredible place. So this is not a settlement. This is a beautiful community. And the Adelsons have got an incredible medical center and a teaching facility there. And it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish or Christian or Muslim, Arab, Israeli, doesn't matter. People are getting the best medical care. I'll tell you right now, here's what we need to do. We may not have sovereignty over the entire thing right away. That might be difficult to do at this particular time. But let's go community by community. I say this. Let's make Hebron great again. Let's make Hebron great again. And let it be a place where Arabs and Jews, Christians, Muslims can work together and live a better life. And let it be a shining light. You know what? Then maybe Ramallah is next.
Oh.
Then maybe Jericho is next. Maybe other communities that can see that Jews and Arabs and Christians can work together to create a better society for their children and stop all this ridiculous hatred based on centuries of trying to take the land. The land it should not be the issue. It should not be the issue. And unfortunately it is. And guess what? Israel's never giving it up.
No way. I totally agree with you 100%. Here he is, the amazing head basketball coach of Final Four team, Auburn University, sounding more like a senator, like Tommy Tuberville, than a head basketball coach. But, man, Bruce Pearl knows his history, and if I loved him before this conversation, now I love him even more. So let's go Auburn. So here's my question. Can your guy Jones stop this kid Clayton Jr.? I saw this kid Saturday night against Mississippi. I'm having dinner with my wife and a couple of friends. This kid, Bruce, he's taking step-back threes down by 2 with a minute and a half left. He's got ice in his veins.
It's unbelievable. It's funny, Sid. You hit the nail on the head, really, identifying a guy like Denver Jones, who is a really underrated, terrific defender, and the keys to the kingdom that Walter Clayton has. I mean, what a great player. What an incredible tournament he's having. He's been the best guard on the floor every time he's taken the floor. And when he played here at Auburn, that was the case that particular night. It absolutely was. And if we're going to have any chance to beat Florida, then we're going to have to find a way to shut off his water. And that's not going to be easy. But if anybody can do it, Denver Jones and company can. And obviously he's going to be absolutely going to be the guy that we're going to have to stop if we're going to survive and advance and play for the national championship on Monday.
And one more, we know basketball is all about matchups. I don't care, Bruce, who's got the better player. It doesn't matter. You can have a team that's not as talented, but if you match up well, you're going to win. That's the bottom line. So your big scorer is Broom. He gets about 18 plus a night. How does he match up against the Gator defenders?
Well, Florida's got 4 or 5 really big interior defenders. They got a lot of bodies and a lot of fouls. And the last time we matched up, Janai struggled a little bit. He was coming back from an injury, and obviously the big fella pulled a Willis Reed night the other night against Michigan State.
Yes.
And you know what? It was 10 for 13. And it was one of the big reasons why we're going to the Final Four. So, yep, he's going to have to step up and finish through contact. And, again, I love my son, my brother Todd Golden. He's the coach at Florida. He worked for me for a couple of years. He coached at Columbia as an assistant. He played out in California at St. Mary's. He's one of the best young coaches in the country. And if I can't win it, then I hope he can.
Well, just so you know, Bruce, I know you know this already, but just in case you don't, I keep in touch with a lot of folks every day here in New York, the largest media market in the world, but a lot of folks from Florida to California to Israel. They listen every day on the app, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Netanya, you name it, and they love you. So you'll become a heck of a lot more than a college basketball coach. You represent hope for the Jewish people, and we've needed that more than anything over the last 2 years. So go kick the Gators' ass, move on, beat Duke or Houston, whoever else, win the championship, and you and I will celebrate together in Israel in a couple of weeks.
I'm on it, Sid. Thanks. It's been an honor to be your guest.
God bless. Honor having you.
God
Thank
bless.
you, Coach. My God, do I love that guy. Bruce
Oh,
Pearl.
my God.
Gee, do you love him? Head basketball coach at Auburn University.
That's amazing. He's going to be running stuff in the future, man.
He needs to be.